It would seem as though.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, and good morning, and all the good things. All the good things. I'm just feeling all the good things this morning.
Oh, clearly.
Because I'm just happy and chipper and faking it till I make it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm feeling super happed,
Yeah.
super chips.
Yeah.
Totes. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Anyway, it's a nice, fall day, though.
It is. I love that.
Wonderful.
It's only supposed to get up to 76 today.
That's beautiful.
And tomorrow's supposed to be in the 60s and raining.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Give it to me now.
So, welcome to another week of It Would Seem As Though, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
Mostly nothing.
Mostly.
Yeah.
I'm Vesta.
I'm Shananica.
Well, because if you'll shenan once, you'll shenan again.
Yes, you will.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How am I doing?
Yeah.
Me?
You? Well,
How
who else am I talking
I
to? Am I
doing?
asking your cat how
Um,
she's doing?
Maybe. She'll tell you the same thing every
She's
day.
living her best life.
Yeah, she's a real bitch. I'm doing all right. Let me think. Let me think of any updates. One, we talked about this briefly yesterday. My health, because they talked about this
Right.
on the podcast.
Yeah, you did all the tests.
I did all the tests, the blood test, the poop test. I did all the tests. They took all my blood. I don't know. I don't know what's next, and something's going on, but they don't know what's wrong, which has been fun. Let me tell you what. Like I told you yesterday, I would rather have them say, you need to have this medication forever, or have this surgery, or have this,
Right.
procedure, whatever. I would prefer that, some sort of cemented thing, opposed to, and my doctor hasn't said anything yet. I don't think she's gone over all of the tests because there was a million. But, yeah, because I just read them. So from a layman, I'm like, looks like everything's fine.
I'm gonna live.
Yeah.
Well, and I hate to try and be the silver lining kind of girl because usually I'm not. But at least the one takeaway from that is that you're not dying.
Right, praise Jesus.
We got at least one thing. You don't have the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's
and
wonderful.
with me, I swear to God, that's always like, oh, well, here it is. I've got something wrong. I'm probably dying.
Yeah, I'm probably going to die.
I mean, we're all going to die at some point, but I would rather it be later than sooner.
That was really rude of you, but okay.
I'm just saying.
I don't think you should tell truths on this show. I thought that was the truth of gossip.
Oh.
Just kidding. Anyway,
because, recently, in the last year,
tell me.
I've had friends and acquaintances die who were around my age, and in what I thought, just by knowing them, some well and some more kind of peripherally, in better health than me because they were not fat.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's my only health issue right now is that I'm fat.
Yeah.
So, and yes, it puts a strain on my body. Yes, no one needs to tell me that. I know.
Girl, that shit's
I know, because
irritating.
I know.
That shit is.
But,
Wait, can I say a PSA real quick?
Yeah.
If you feel the need to tell someone, being fat's going to harm you, it's the same way you tell an alcoholic that drinking is going to kill them, a smoker that smoking is going to kill them. Bitch, they fucking know. Also, mind your own business, I don't feign concern, especially if you don't know a bitch. You know what I mean?
when they feign concern, I like to feign surprise. Like, what?
I'm fat?
I'm sure I don't know if I've told this story on here, but one of my favorite of all time,
Okay. I'm ready.
I didn't know I was fat stories,
Oh.
was I was at a physical therapist office.
Yeah.
And she was the teeniest of the tiniest. And I think fairly new in the business
Yeah.
and whatever, and that's fine. But she said to me, and she said it just like this. Now, has anyone ever maybe suggested that you should possibly think about the idea of losing some weight?
And then she mumbled the last part.
Lose the weight.
No.
To which I replied, what? No one's ever told me I needed to lose. I am in shock right now. I am in so much shock right now. And she just looked at me like, I was like, of course I've been told that a million times.
Yeah,
It's like, but I had to, get her going for just a minute.
Yeah.
But I also, when I went in the very first time for my heart issue, which is AFib, and if you don't know what that is, just look it up. I had a doctor. So this doctor walks. I'm in the hospital bed. This doctor walks in the room reading my chart, probably wondering, why is a woman of 40 having, AFib, whatever?
Yeah.
Walks in the room, looks up from her chart and goes, "Oh, you're fat."
Wow.
I'm like, nice bedside manner, doc.
Listen, bitch, you're ugly, okay?
And you clearly are stupid because you don't walk into a room and go, "Oh, you're fat."
That's disrespectful, ho. So say that to me outside.
It is disrespectful.
I mean, yes, it's observational, but we've put, we've talked about this many times, just we've put so much value into some words that shouldn't have value. Like, the word fat should not be a bad thing. Being fat, having fat. And why is that a bad thing? And how does it affect others? I just don't understand.
Well, the other thing that I think most people, it makes them uncomfortable if you talk about yourself and say, "Well, I'm fat and whatever." Oh no, it's like, okay, don't try to spin it like I have, I'm voluptuous or I have big bones. I have normal sized bones. I'm not a dinosaur. I have
what?
Right?
That's more shocking to me.
But it's just a fact. I'm fat.
Just
it's the same fact as my hair is not naturally this color.
Weird.
I wear glasses.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Wait, you weren't born with like these natural colored formations on your skin known as tattoos?
No, none of my none of the tattoos are just born that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. That shit's always weird to me. I always hate that too. Like, we're just going to talk about things I hate today, I guess. But when people say, "Oh, it's your own opinion," if you're like, "Oh, I look ugly in this picture," or "I don't look good today," people can be like, "Oh, no, you look great today." Because, bitch, when I say I don't feel funny, smart, whatever, attractive in a day, I don't need people to be like, "No, honey, but you are."
But I'm here to save you.
Bitch, I know I'm smart. Bitch, I know I'm funny. And 9 times out of 10, I know I'm attractive. Let me tell you, the last, I would say 7 to 10 months has been, I felt less attractive.
Sure, because if you're not feeling great.
Yeah, very much just kind of... so that's
oh my god, you're so beautiful.
I know, it's been, no one's done that because I'm not outwardly like, "I'm ugly, don't look at me," like I'm the hunchback from Notre Dame, I'm like hiding in the bell tower.
Sure.
But
I was going to recommend that.
I think you use it. Yeah. But it is psychologically weird, because I think for myself, I used to be a little trampy tramp, walk around wearing practically nothing,
Right, because you're a smoke show.
Right. Well, and I feel like I used to be, right? I feel like that's in my past. I don't feel that
now
same
you're just
way.
a steam show.
Now I'm just the cinders, now I'm all smoked out. But sometimes I do. I feel like, oh, I'm getting older. I feel, I don't know what it is, but psychologically I feel like, well, I'm less attractive. Before, I think maybe it was because I intentionally wanted to be like striking in a way, like where what I wore was really revealing. I painted my face all the time. I like the contrast, of the severity of it all, and I think that I'm just not, I don't have the energy to do all that anymore.
No.
And I don't want to wear clothes that are like killing me,
Well, prior to COVID, I wore makeup each and every single day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come downstairs as a rule without makeup on.
Yeah.
And I have barely worn makeup since COVID because I just can't. 3 months I spent not wearing because I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And now I'm all meh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it.
I can't be bothered.
I get it. I don't wear makeup. If we go places, I will put makeup on. But daily, I don't. I just do my skincare. But during COVID, I still had to work. But I just painted eyes. I painted eyes.
Because you were wearing a mask.
A mask. And as you know, I wore a mask long after everyone else stopped. And I started, because I've been feeling so trashy, I started wearing a mask everywhere else again. So when Gavin and I this weekend went to Bath & Body Works and Target and a couple other places, and I wore a mask the whole time because I was like, why? I just don't, because we talked about this. When I get sick, girl, I get knocked down, drag out sick.
Yeah.
Like there's some beef the universe has with me.
It's kind of odd that when I was young, I was very, very healthy. I pretended to be sick a lot to get out of school, but I was very healthy.
Sure.
And then I got hepatitis, which I prayed to God I was going to die.
Yeah.
Because it's the worst.
Sure.
For the next, 5 years after that, I caught every bug that went around. I was sick as a fucking dog all the time. Now, my immune system has, I don't know, it's magic.
Recovered?
Because I will wake up in the morning and go, oh my God, I'm sick. I have a sore throat or whatever it is. Maybe, for example, the other morning I woke up and I felt like I had been repeatedly pummeled in the stomach.
Sure, love that.
My head hurt. My body, I had body aches everywhere. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Not this.
Not this.
Yeah.
By 11 a.m., I was fine.
No, see, and when I had that the day when I woke up, I then proceeded to shit and vomit everywhere in my bathroom. And then for the next, 12 hours, I would lay down for a minute. And every hour, at least, multiple times an hour, I was in that bathroom, girl. I was dead. So it was fun.
Yeah, it sounds like
now
fun.
I'm skinny.
Right. I mean, I went on the food poisoning diet.
Yeah,
It's the best.
And I know that's what you say because Gavin felt the same way. But I was like, wow, I might die here.
Yeah.
I think
Oh my God!
is this
I've
death?
had food poisoning 3 times.
It's awful.
It is awful, and you do think you're going to die. In fact, you kind of hope for it.
Yeah, because it was miserable. I said, I don't ever want to eat again. What's
Yeah.
food?
Yeah.
No, I'm taking...
Well, and the idea of food is so gross.
So gross, yeah. And there was nothing. I wanted water. I was like, can I please just have some water?
Yeah, and I could barely get that down. When I
Okay.
had food
Yeah,
poisoning.
I could drink water, praise God, but I was... Ooh, I'm gonna die, honey.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I didn't take
Oh.
I didn't take any of my prescriptions for 2 days.
Well, it wouldn't have made any difference. You're just throwing them right up.
I know. So I said, "This is weird. What a weird." And it was just so. I was so discombobulated. It was so fun.
Well, I'm so glad you're doing better.
Yeah. Same. I'm in school, doing good. I have finished one class. I'm at the end of another one, close to the end of a third one. So I'm doing great.
And how many total classes do you have?
I believe, if I remember correctly, it's 9 because grad students, there's less classes. They're just more intensive.
Yeah. For
yeah.
some reason, I had 8 stuck in my head.
Yeah.
But, so I was close.
I think getting an MBA through Western Governors, I think, is 11 classes. So I know that the HR one is a class or 2 less than that.
Okay.
But whatever, I'll have so much business knowledge by the time I'm done with this. You know what? I don't care about the financial aspect of any business. Not even, I couldn't even pretend. And that's my issue, right? That's my problem because I don't care about the revenue and the profit and how much we're putting out and what I don't care. I want to care about the people who work there. That's literally it.
Yeah.
And that's
no, I get that.
That's kind of all HR is. So that's cool with me as long as I don't have to be like, oh, we're under budget and overspent or whatever.
Yeah.
Over budget. Nope. We're fucked.
There you go.
Me.
That would be
Yeah.
on your assessment sheet of the
Yeah.
company. We're fucked.
What between all these answers, which one's correct? The one that says we're fucked. And I know how to read financial sheets.
Sure.
I've been a manager, right? And I have to read them to know things. But it's just not me. I just don't find it interesting. I don't like it. I prefer to be like, how are you feeling? What would make you better at your job?
What about your job is making you want to quit your job? Let's work on that.
Yeah.
So, last week, I think it was last week, who knows? I lose track of time. We specifically talked about stupid shit we had to do in gym class.
Yeah.
Like climbing the ropes and whatever.
Yeah.
And our friend Lori Lee sent me an email.
Okay.
And it's just an image, which is so funny, and it's a picture of all these kids climbing the rope in gym. And it says how, we are climbing this 30-foot rope with 2 inches of mat on the floor to save us when we fall.
Yeah.
It's like, and she said, I feel your pain. Mm-hmm. Because, same generation.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
I was, of course, and I told you I've been watching the Goldbergs, which because you got me turned onto it.
Uh-huh.
Every time they show them climbing the ropes, they're like, and don't worry, this 2 inches of mat on the floor will absolutely save you from whatever happens.
For real, yeah.
Which, it won't even break your fall.
No, it'll just break your body.
Yeah.
I see, in gym class in high school, the only requirement there was in high school was to run a mile. That was it. So we didn't have to climb or anything.
And you never had to do it in elementary school?
In elementary school, no, there was none of that.
Because at Carlton Elementary, there was the rope hanging from the ceiling in the gym.
Oh yeah, not when I was there.
Okay.
No, when I was a kid, and remember, because, for our many listeners, again, at Carleton Elementary, it was, kindergarten through 8th grade, for the most part. So we all had pretty much the same gym teacher, right?
Yeah.
We just had different periods of the day. We played, soccer, capture the flag, dodgeball. We did, square dancing, line dancing. The big...
fun.
The big parachute thing that you all hold and get under. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I don't know the point of it, but yes.
It's fun. It shows you, you trap air and it becomes a bubble and you're inside of it. It's cute. We also, there was this, I swear to God, it was probably a fucking record. It might be a tape or a CD. But one of our gym teachers would play it, and it was do all the things that it said to do, an aerobics kind of.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, we did a lot of team sports and things like that. And again, line dancing and square dancing.
Line dancing and square dancing sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, it was fine. And I had no problems with it because I was like, girl, this is easy. What you mean we gotta dance in here? Girl,
all right.
Let me show you what I know.
So you start twerking instead of line dancing.
Right. I was all, don't go chase a waterfall, to my dance that I made up or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it was very different. Even in high school.
You made up that dance in front of my apartment.
I remember me, Michaela, and Brianna, and it was, and then someone stole it, and now it's famous, whatever. But in high school, because I had to take gym in freshman year.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, stupid fucking workouts. Right, they made us run the mile. I think it was once a week, but then they made you do laps around the gym, and then you have to hold a plank or do push-ups or do sit-ups in different rotations. So it's basically a unit. What is it called? Sets. There's different sets.
I know what you're saying.
Of exercises that you do. Yeah, and some circuit city. Yeah, and then we would play, again, team sports. But it was different because we were grown-ups at that point.
I'm thinking about all of those things that you just said you had to do, and I'm thinking I couldn't have done most of them.
No, it was
I mean, I physically, because my knees were really always bad.
Yeah.
And I was always a fat kid.
Right.
So the idea of running a mile, even walking a mile then probably would have been a stretch for me. I mean, I could have walked a mile.
Yeah.
But I remember I think it was in 8th grade, and the gym teacher was like, yo, run around the track. Everybody has to run. And I'm all, I can't run.
Yeah, what you
Physically,
mean?
I cannot run because of my knees.
Yeah.
They will give out, and I will be on
literally
face down on the ground.
And you want my blood on your hands?
Yeah, he didn't care.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'll try. Mm-hmm. And I ran. I don't even think I got a quarter of the way around that fucking track when my knee dislocated and I was face down in the dirt. And then everybody got to laugh at me.
Oh my God,
so it was all,
even
this
better.
is the best. I love
great.
gym class.
You did a great time.
Yeah.
You did a great time.
Yeah, because I do love being mocked openly.
Yeah. And especially when you have no allies. It's literally the greatest time.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, no more gym class. Fuck gym class. But I did like it when I was a kid because it was fun. It was fun because it was just team sports, and I don't know, it wasn't, we weren't dressing down.
Sports.
Yeah, we weren't dressing down. But I like sports. I wasn't anyway, what? Sorry.
Well, if we're changing topics.
Yeah, hard right.
Here's one.
I'm ready.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee
God.
signs law that allows people to refuse to solemnize marriage licenses.
Great.
So
we're back to this now?
Yeah.
Great.
So this law says that you don't even have to issue marriage licenses if it goes against your religion.
Oh my God.
And you don't have to perform a wedding ceremony. Now, I get, if you're like me and you're ordained and I just don't like you, I'm going to be like, no thanks.
Yeah, sure. But you're also not a religious affiliate.
But if you're the person at the county office who's supposed to do, those kind of marriage things, I don't think you should have a choice.
No, because you know what you are? A civil servant, you dumb bitch, which means that you work for us,
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
And I'm sorry if your stupid made-up religion is I can't do this. Fuck off. It doesn't say anywhere in the Bible.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
No.
So
it says nowhere in that Bible.
No, nowhere in the Bible does say anything about that. So fuck completely off Tennessee. I don't know what your problem is.
Girl, do they have to have a problem? Because at this point, it's literally just how... I've been alive long enough and politically aware long enough, and for the longest time very green on the subject. Like I was all what? Now I'm no more. Since Donald Trump 2015 decided to run, so about 9 years, I would say I've been more aware and actively educated myself. What I've noticed is progress always wins, which I say regularly, because if you look at the history, just even in the United States, progress has always won out. And it used to freak me out when little fuckboys like this would make legislation that were like, oh, well, now you don't have to issue licenses to them queers and whatever, right? That
by the way, it's even interracial couples.
Oh, good.
If that's bothersome to you or you whatever, you don't have to do it.
I love that. But that shit used to freak me out as well. But then I think this is just another little talking head who gets all riled up. I mean, it won't last forever, right?
Right.
And that's the fucked up part, is like constantly needing to look towards the future and not being able to be like, we're good now, because we're not, you know? But it is true. You can look at, again, there are places that go backwards. There's currently like Iran that is going backwards, and like their civil rights and how they treat people, specifically women. But like the United States, we have progressed quite a lot. And I mean, I wouldn't say we're a super progressive country, but again, let's look at the last 100 years even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the last 100 years, what has happened? A lot of shit for the better. And there's always steps back, but we always march right the fuck on. And so that shit freaks me out. But I feel like so many people are now radicalized to the bullshit treatment by the U.S. government that they're like, no more, you know? And there's going to be places where there's hubs of conservatives or alt-right crazy people, white nationalists, you know, who thrive there. Because, of course, if how we believed was the norm, there would be no need for an opposition, right? But there is a need because no one believes like us.
And so one of the things that I have a really, really big problem with is the shit that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth that his followers eat up.
First of all.
They eat up that shit like it is candy. And the other day, he made the dumbest fucking statement. He said, imagine, you say goodbye to little Billy and send him on to school, and when he comes home, he's had a violent operation, and now he's a girl. I'm sorry, what elementary schools are performing surgeries?
What? Can I go back to elementary school?
I know. I'm sorry, I don't recall ever knowing a teacher once who performed gender-confirming surgery.
And I'm sorry, and what kind of... Are they doing this in every elementary school? Were we just not privy?
I guess.
And why not us?
It's just the craziest thing to me. And he's saying it, and people are cheering, and it's like, this shit can't happen. Literally, that's not even a thing. No, but it's like,
so stupid.
That's not a thing.
No.
The drag queens doing anything to harm your children at the, drag queen library read story time.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
No.
The after children are born performing an abortion, which is just murder, by the way, not a thing. All of these talking points that they're like, those aren't even things.
No, they're just so delusional. It's so
like,
crazy.
Because Democrats want to have abortion legal all the way up till and even after they've had a baby. That's not a thing.
Okay, 2018, Laura Lee will remember this. Astra and I went to Montana, and we first stopped and saw Becky, my birth mother, and stayed a night there, whatever. And then we went to the Diaz's house.
Bye, Laura Lee.
Hello. But when we were leaving wherever Becky lives, I can't remember what it's called. Whitehall? Sounds right. Some trashy little town. We stopped at the local bar, restaurant, which is pretty typical for a small town. And as we parked the car, and as we're walking, I passed this group of old white men, about everything. And one of them was talking about how, I was hearing on the news that in New York City now they can abort their 3-year-old child. And I thought that was the funniest fucking thing I'd ever heard in my life. I'm like, abort their 3-year-old child? Sir, that's murder. That's not abortion. You can't have a baby and then kill it and call it abortion. You're all stupid. Like, that is my...
Just the idea, what if you can abort it from the mission?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't abort a 3-year-old.
No.
It's if you want to get rid of it, you either have to put it up for adoption,
or it's dead,
or kill it,
or it's dead. Yeah.
And it's like that's not even a thing. And it's usually when babies are dying. It's usually these states where they're like, we're so pro-life. Some of those states, like Tennessee, have the highest infant mortality rates.
Yeah.
So, because their healthcare is crap. And it's like, so you are not really pro-life.
Yeah. There's no reason. Infant mortality will always happen. But we live in, like, the strongest, smartest, most richestest, bestestest country in the world. Why is there such a high infant mortality rate? There should not be. Well, that is bananica, It's
also these states have the highest mortality rate of birth mothers.
Love that.
And the highest mortality rate of birth mothers is amongst black women.
That's not surprising.
Because they get the worst health care.
Yes, because of the health
So, I don't want to hear how, us horrible Democrats are doing these awful things to babies. Y'all are shit.
Also, let me tell you something.
And I'm sorry, but I can't even send my kids to school without worrying they're going to get shot.
Yeah.
Because you won't do a fucking thing about guns.
No.
But you'll, do a thing about drag queens reading to children. Because that's the real danger.
Well, and here's the thing. None of these are real issues. Do you know what I mean? Like,
guns coming into school, that's an issue.
That's an issue, yes. But all these other things, like, why are you concerned about who's using what bathroom? And why are you concerned about people in a costume teaching your children and reading to them? Like, why are these things offensive to you? Because you are probably never going to be out of debt. You are never going to probably be able to own a house. You are, you will probably hit the ceiling of your job if you ever have a job, All of these things are reality. All of these things you should care about. The fact that you own it, it doesn't make any sense to me. People are like, well, I don't want them transgenders in my daughter's bathroom while you're living in your fucking motorhome with your 7 children and your second girlfriend of the year. You know what I mean? Like, don't talk to me about anything because you're dumb as fuck. And you talk about the real shit that matters. Talk about how we don't make livable wages. How there's not a single place in the United States that a person can, on a full-time salary of minimum wage, can a person have a 2-bedroom apartment. There's not a single place. Not even in the poor states, the cheap states. It doesn't happen anymore.
No. Which, to me, is just unacceptable completely.
Well, yeah, but that's unacceptable. All these other things...
But those are real issues.
Yeah. And, like, yes, gun rights are... But all of this is such hyperbole and scare tactic for no reason. It's scapegoating. When really, focus on the, criminal legislation that happens that gets to take advantage of poor people. Or the fact, I don't know, like, focus on things that matter. Get your kids an education. Get yourself an education. Take,
To me, all of that is, though, it's just the whole look over there tactic.
Yes.
Don't look at this thing that we're squeaking by as a law. Don't look at how we're screwing you on taxes. Don't look at how we're taking away your rights. Look at this crazy thing over here where a drag queen is in your school.
A drag queen is reading to children.
Oh my God. And they're a pervert. And they're it's like, I saw this woman yesterday do this whole TikTok on, show me the statistics. Show me the statistics where one drag queen reading to children, caused any sort of problem. Show me the statistics of babies who were aborted, after birth.
Honestly.
Show me the statistics of all of the talking points that you say to scare people, because they don't exist.
No.
But now show me the statistics. That word's getting harder to say.
Yeah.
Of children being shot in school. That's a statistic you can find.
Yes.
Because it happens all the time, and every time it does, thoughts and prayers.
I know.
Fuck your thoughts and prayers.
Honestly.
I want to see something real happen.
I know.
It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world.
No.
Why does it happen here?
I know.
Because we're such a great country.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, too. I was watching a Michelle Wolf clip. The comedian Michelle Wolf. Do you know who she is?
Love her.
Same. And she was saying how when... Kamala became vice president and she was sworn in, and everyone was in the U.S. was like, little girls, they just needed to see it happen, to know it could happen for them. And And she said, nobody else needed to know or see it to know that it could happen because everywhere else has already had, like, women in power.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be so advanced and so smart, yet we are so behind the time when it comes to putting women in charge.
Well,
it's
if you
crazy.
think about it, even the countries that, we do learn about in history, because God knows there's a lot we don't learn about. But Germany, Angela Merkel.
And she was, you know what? She was president or whatever she is, chancellor, I don't know.
Yeah.
Long enough that we know her name is Angela and not Angela.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know how long it is,
But I mean, Margaret Thatcher was prime minister.
Yeah.
Indira Gandhi was the head. It's like all these people through history. But here, Shirley Chisholm, first black woman to run for president, and of course it didn't win.
Sure.
But, it's like we're so backwards.
Yeah.
Because it's like all you can have are old white men.
Yeah. And look how well that's turned out.
Yeah, because they have their finger on the pulse of society.
Well, and when people talk shit about, like, oh, well, if a woman was in charge, she would press the big red button the day she was riding the crimson wave or whatever, right? Like, she's going to blow the world.
Right, because she has her period.
Yeah.
Because women become absolutely irrational because they have a period.
Well, women are werewolves. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
Women get their period.
I
and
did
become
not know.
a werewolf. But what's funny to me is, how many women have started wars in history? A handful, maybe. Out of all war in human history, a handful of women.
Yeah.
I'm not saying wars weren't fought over women, but I'm saying women had a hand in that were actually... No. So, and war is such... You can profit so much from war, So it's men. Men have contributed, have instigated, have pushed war for so many reasons. So I don't think a woman having a period... Let me tell you something. Women have their periods and have to go to work and go to school and deal with
their children, or whatever it is they have to do.
Yeah, drive their car. And I have watched recently these men wear those little patches that vibrate, whatever they're called.
Yeah, so they can feel what labor pains feel like.
Yeah, or period pains. And there was a guy, his girlfriend turned it up and he was all, like freaking out, kicking his legs, like almost bright red, almost in tears. And he was like, that has to be all the way up to 10. You're maxing it out. And she's all, it's literally level 2. Like, he couldn't even handle that little bit of pain.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. So, like, that's the thing. Ooh, women are the weaker sex. Are they? Are they, though?
I'm sorry. No.
Eat shit. And then eat it again.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, listen, and now I'm done talking about politics for today. But I want to talk to you about something that we talked about a little bit yesterday. I had what I thought was a very strange question, which I've wondered about for years, which is, do people who've been blind since birth dream? And your response was probably, but it's just probably sights, and I'm not sights, sounds and sensations and whatever.
An abstract. Maybe.
Right. And so I Google searched it, and obviously I was not the first person to do so.
Sure.
Because I barely finished typing "do blind people," and it was like, dream?
Exist.
Where do they exist? Are they real? And the answer is yes. Their dreams are and there's not a ton of studies done on this, but their dreams are not as frequent, or they're not remembered as being as frequent, but they are sensations. They are anxieties. So it's more, all of it is more of a feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm afraid that walking from my house to the bus, I'm going to get hit by a car.
Sure.
And so it's that feeling of anxiety and dread and whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I imagine people who were sighted and then become blind because they have a reference.
Yeah.
But people who've always been blind, it's always been dark.
Yeah. What's the reference point?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. I bet. So just your other senses really take over.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Dreaming. Girl, dreaming is so weird.
Yeah.
Dreaming has the power to fuck me up. I could wake up and I don't think this is like unique to me.
I was thinking about your dream the other night where you were mad at Gavin when you woke up because he was misbehaving in your dream.
Yeah, well, he was.
But I so feel that because I've had dreams where my husband was doing something shitty, and I wake up and I'm literally mad at him.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, it was a dream. You need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, I know.
I don't tell him I'm mad at him.
No, well,
Every once in a while I do.
No, I
I'll be
told
like,
Gavin.
oof, I am so mad at you. And he's like, what did I do? Well, you...
Let me
and
tell you.
And I will tell him the whole scenario. He's like,
Yeah.
so you dreamed I did some stupid shit, and
We started referring to Dream Gavin as James just because it's like a villain. Like, he's not real Gavin.
Does he have a twisty mustache?
No, but he's just a little butthole and he does naughty things. And he needs to know he's in trouble. I know. Anyway, but there are dreams that I have that sometimes are just upsetting, or whatever, and I can ruin my day. Like, I can wake up and be like, wow, my day is so fucked up. Or even those dreams where you're like, walk into the mansion that you allegedly own and your partner's having sex, or, in an orgy, or there's, I don't know, whatever it is, some awful, heartbreaking thing, and just being like, when you wake up, am I missing something? Is this all really happening? Yes, bitch, in the mansion right next door.
So,
Gavin's in an orgy.
Most frustrating dreams are I'm in the mansion and I can't find the bathroom. Or I find the bathroom and it's all glass walls with people standing around watching. Ew. Or the toilet's just in the middle of a room. Yeah. Or, it's like...
people
or as I said to you the other night, my dream was, obviously I had to go pee in my sleep. And, hopefully not pee the bed.
Which I just let it go.
Right. But I finally found the bathroom, and the toilet, I swear to God, looked like if you haven't seen the movie Train Spotting, it looked like that toilet, which literally was full to the brim with shit.
That is literally
and just like spilling over, and it was like, oh no, what am I,
Hello,
and it was
police.
Like, but my most frequent anxiety dreams are about doing shows, because I've been a performer forever.
Yeah.
And even when I was a kid in high school, if I was doing a play, the run of the play, including rehearsals, I would dream that I got to the play and it was time to start the show and I hadn't gotten in costume, or I hadn't gotten in makeup,
sure.
Or I couldn't find the entrance to the stage, or I was busy talking backstage and missed my cue, And so then when I started performing in drag shows and stuff, it was that I got there and I didn't have any of my makeup. And I always did my makeup at home, so that's funny. Or I got there and none of my clothes were there. Or I didn't have any music. Or I didn't even know I was doing a show, and they're like, you're up. And I'm like, I'm dressed in streetwear, so I can't.
Yeah, totally.
Whatever. And so those are my most frequent anxiety dreams.
Oh, okay, that's great. Mine are, I'm hiding from people. Those are the ones that happen regularly. Often, I'm alone. I hear people...
Is it because of your life of crime?
Yeah, it's because of my being a little kitty burglar. And that's just where I go and steal cats.
Right? Because a cat burglar is where you steal realty, but kitty burglar is where you steal cats.
But it's often... I will be by myself, or sometimes I'll be with... There's 3 options. By myself, or with someone I know, or someone... I don't really know, right? But we're trying to hide, get away. And it's different places. It's been in, like, a really intricate, like a Safari Sam's intricate, like, Chuck E. Cheese jungle gym. Yeah. Trying to hide from people and get away. Like, office buildings, whatever houses that I don't live in. But it's me trying to hide, get away, protect myself. Those are and those happen regularly. Those are the dreams that I have the most often. And that's why I smoked so much marijuana at night, and I used to take eat an edible because it would help me go to sleep, and I wouldn't really dream about it. But yeah, those are the dreams that I have that are most anxiety-inducing. The ones with Gavin, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you acting like that? So my dream about Gavin, I know you already know, but I'll tell the audience. In a house with people, Gavin comes from the room that's adjacent, enters the room, and he's naked. And I said, why are you naked? And he said, because I wanted to. And I said, maybe put some clothes on. He said, no! And ran away from me. That was, and I just remember watching him run, thinking, what? What?
I love that.
What do I do now?
That to me is hilarious.
Chase that big boy down.
Right.
That 6'4". I'm coming. Like, what am I gonna do? Naked.
rope him. I don't know.
I know. Trick him.
Cowgirl.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I don't know.
Trick him with candy. I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, I had an idea.
I don't like that.
I know you don't.
It's scary.
I know. My ideas are always bad. I thought it could be fun.
Oh, good. Okay.
I found this questionnaire
Okay.
of your firsts. Like your first boyfriend
Sure.
or your first whatever.
Sure.
And I thought that would be fun.
That'd be super fun.
Because, it's a little light something. Because
Yeah.
we've been kind of heavy for a while. I want to do something light.
I know, and I'm sorry, world, but the world's a shit show.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Yeah.
So I've been, tired.
So we're going to just do some of these because they're fun.
Yeah.
And I'll ask the question, but we can both answer.
Yeah,
What
of
was
course.
your first car?
Oh, my first car was Miss Daisy. She was 2011 Toyota Corolla. She was white, and on the interior had...
Hence the name Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
Because you were driving her.
Uh-huh. She was white on the outside, and she was black on the inside. And I called her Miss Daisy because I drove her everywhere. That was my very first car. And I always brag about it because I was... How old was I So I bought it in 2012. It was 2011. It had 4 miles on it. How old am I? That's math. 21?
You're 35.
Right, so...
Oh, in 2012, how old were you?
Yeah. 21, 22?
22.
Okay, so...
23?
Yeah.
23.
Sure. So I had a down payment, and I didn't need a cosigner, and my car payments were 0 interest. Which I'm like...
Yeah, that was amazing.
It was such a... I was obsessed. Yeah. I love Miss Daisy, and then I sold her, and I was actually kind of heartbroken, because I was like, this little car has gotten me out of many a situation.
Yeah. My first car is a whole story.
Was a horse and carriage.
It was a horse and carriage. Well, I'm not counting that one because that belonged to my grandpappy. But, no, that was a tractor.
Oh, God.
No,
Was
so
your
I
mom-
was 19, and I was living on my own with a roommate.
Yeah.
And riding my bicycle to and from work, which wasn't terribly far. I mean, it was a couple miles.
Where did you live?
McMinnville.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my roommate was like, hey, you should get a car.
And you're
I
like,
was like,
oh, okay.
I would if I could afford one,
Yeah.
but I'm working at a gas station. I make minimum wage.
You could just steal one.
And And so one day she says to me, hey, I found you a car. The owner of it only wants $100.
Mm-hmm.
So mind you, this is 1981.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to look up how much $100 is in 1981.
Okay. But I found you this car. It's old, but it's $100. You just have to meet him at this place, and so I was meeting him at a bar.
Yeah, you were.
In fucking Lafayette. I'm 19. I'm not supposed to be going into a bar.
You rode your bicycle to Lafayette?
No.
Okay.
My roommate's identical twin sister drove me.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Drove me to this bar. And we both looked like, in Lafayette, we looked like crazy people because we both had that kind of 80s, punkish, Cyndi Lauper-ish kind of thing going on.
Totally.
And so we walk into this bar.
All you want to do is have some fun.
The jukebox stops. Everybody turns and looks. But I gave the man, and he was like, well, now...
Yeah, let me tell
it's $130 because I had to put in a brand new battery because it wasn't... I was like, okay, fine. Gave him $130.
Touch your boobies.
And drove it home, and I didn't have a license, so I was driving unlicensed because I went and got my license almost immediately.
Legality and morality again.
But it was like this 1960-something, 66, I think, Plymouth station wagon.
Cute.
It was white like Miss Daisy, but the interior was red. Yeah.
That's my dream.
And the only thing about... So, the radio worked great. The AM radio, because that's all it had.
Yeah.
But it leaked oil. So, every time I went to the gas station, I had to, fill the oil and check the gas. It was, kind of crazy. But
did that cost you money to fill the oil?
Well, yeah. I had to put in oil every time.
I didn't know if you bought it or it was a service they offered it.
No, nobody... No. But I worked at a gas station, so I got it, discount.
So you just stole it.
Because back then, they had... they literally had a drum of oil,
Cute.
which was just bulk oil.
Gross.
So it's probably cheap and
Yeah.
whatever. And so I'd be like, yeah, top her off.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So that was my first car.
Okay, so you said you pay $130 for it?
I did. I paid
Okay, so $130 today is $449.84.
So it's still cheap as shit, right?
But still, for someone who had no money, that's like
Yeah.
a lot of money. I get it.
Well, I kind of was, yeah.
Yeah, girl.
But, you know, I drove it for a year,
Yeah.
and then I sold it for scrap.
I love that. You know, because I wear a lot of black, I like a lot of dark colors. I like contrast, though. So the idea of having a white car with black interior, I thought was prime. But having a white car with red interior is the epitome of sexy.
Yeah.
I know it's like probably trashy, but
I mean, really, though, it was like, this was, you know, old family car.
Yeah.
Whole thing. Loved it. Okay. When was the first time you got stitches? Was it from being a snitch? Because snitches get stitches.
Bitch, you think I'm a fucking snitch? You think I survived those years in LA by being a snitch?
No, ma'am.
Hoe?
I know better.
I don't know. I would have been dead. No. When was the first time I got stitches? Here's what I will say that I remember.
Yeah.
Because there are maybe two. Because remember when I stepped on a nail?
Yeah?
I was 3, 4. I was little. And I remember going to the doctor, but I
probably wouldn't get stitches for that.
Okay, see, and I don't know. So then I would say when I fainted. Because I broke my foot,
yeah.
but I've never really had, like, big bodily harm. So when I fainted and smashed my face open on a cement planter, and...
Yeah, that story is never better. Every time I hear it, it makes my insides just,
Girl,
it's like, ugh.
It was awful. Fainted twice in 5 minutes, had 2 seizures, smashed my face open, broke some teeth, cracked my collarbone. I was
So
bruised.
no big deal.
No, it was fine. But you could see my chin bone. It was awful.
Oh.
But I didn't know what was going on because I was sweating profusely and had 2 seizures, right? So I was completely out of it. But yeah, it was awful.
That sounds awful.
Awful. So I think that. And I still have the scar. It's gone away quite a bit, but... Yeah, I think that would probably be the first
Mine
time
would not be nearly as traumatic. I was 3.
How boring.
I know. I was 3. We lived in Beaverton. I was running up and down the porch.
Yeah.
The porch steps, which were concrete.
Yeah.
Running up and down and wearing flip-flops.
Oh, I hate that.
And the only reason that's important to the story is because after this incident, flip-flops were banned from my house. And by the way, no one called them flip-flops
Why
when I
weren't
was
you
a
just
child. Everybody called them
barefoot?
phones.
You were raised by your mother. Why weren't you barefoot?
It's a question. I don't know.
Girl.
But I'm running up and down the cement steps of our front porch. And the last time I went to run up the steps,
Of course it was
it caught the toe of my shoe and I fell forward and cracked my forehead open on the cement step. Now,
That makes me want to die.
that is the last of it that I remember.
Okay.
But I do remember all of that. My mother was standing at the end of the driveway talking to our neighbor,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Which is why I was outside in the yard.
Sure.
Well, my mother's portion of where she takes over the story from there, because she, of course, remembers, is she was 9 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And so I can tell you what day this happened, because I used to like to tell my younger brother that I cracked my head open and he was born. Because literally...
Because it's true.
Yeah. So put me in the car. I bled all over the fucking car because head wounds are horrible.
Ew.
And then was in the hospital getting stitches, and then she went into labor.
Ew.
Because the trauma of the day.
It's all so gross.
Yeah.
I hate that, girl.
Yeah. When was the first time you stayed up all night and watched the sunrise?
And specifically watched
See,
the
I don't know that I've ever
sunrise?
had it and watched the sunrise. I've stayed up all night more than once. My first time was in high school at a friend's house, and I actually was sitting up all night with her mom talking.
Jibba-jabbing about jibba-jabba.
Yeah.
I have stayed up all night hundreds of times. I went to college in San Francisco.
Sure.
I mean, I stayed up, and when I was a kid in the 90s, sleepovers, we would buy chocolate milk and pop and candy and rent horror movies and make blanket forts and shit and stay up a lot of the time until the next morning, and then, I mean, and until when people were waking up, right? Because it was the weekend and we could sleep all day.
Yeah.
But watch the sunrise. I don't know. I've seen the sunrise a couple times. I prefer watching it go down because I like nighttime.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know. Such
One
a
of the
downer.
coolest sunset
Yeah.
things I've ever seen was in San Francisco. I was at this place. I think it's called the Cliff House.
Yeah.
And they have this
Yes.
that cool thing that is it's this invention. I believe it's like attributed to Da Vinci. I want to say.
I know. Yeah, I don't.
But it's this thing that you look into,
Yeah.
and you can actually watch the sunset
Crazy.
without, because you're not looking directly at the sun.
Right.
It's like reflected in this series of things, but you can. It's so amazing. You can see sunspots looking at it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The
And you are literally on a cliff, hence the name Cliff House. And it was beautiful. It was so cool.
I want to tell you something else about Cliff House.
Yeah.
It is right. It's not really necessarily Cliff House. It's just Ocean Beach, that part of San Francisco, because it's the Pacific Ocean side of
Yeah.
San Francisco. There's these ruins that are down there.
Oh, of the bathhouse.
Yeah, the Sutro bathhouse. And this, is a nightmare to me now because all of it's really flooded, and there's just like the outer brick wall that still stands.
Right.
And it's not very far from the water, but some of that water is like still water, like has been just chilling. Granted, the ocean comes in, but it doesn't move.
It doesn't all go out. So it's brackish water.
When I first moved to San Francisco, I walked around that entire perimeter on the brick, like standing wall with my friend Alexis for whatever reason, and you know how I feel about water.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I had smoked that day to think this is a good idea, but the Sutro bath ruins, if you ever go to San Francisco, you should go check it out. But first you should Google it and look at what it looked like, and then go look at the ruins because it's cool. And next to it, there's this tunnel that you can walk through, and it's like a wind tunnel. So wind like screams through it, and you can get to the other side. It's like a little oasis. It's really cute. So go do that. But the Sutro bath ruins and watching that little device, I forgot what the fuck it's called. And the Cliff House is yummy food. It's a restaurant. Anyway,
Yeah.
what's next, Mary?
What was your first paying job?
My first
Like a real job where you get a W-2?
um
Because I always specify that because my
Specifically.
first job was picking berries as a child.
well,
I got
yeah.
paid for it, but didn't get a W-2.
I remember I used to work for Uncle Blake. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
In his little warehouse with computer parts or whatever. Don't ask me about any of that because I don't know. Would be working at Old Navy was my first real gig.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I didn't have a job when I was in high school or anything. I got a job when I turned 18. Yeah.
My first job, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on here, was working at an old folks' home when I was 16.
Right.
Horrible and traumatic. Hated it. Hated every minute of it.
I'm upset.
Especially when people died and they were like, okay, go get them cleaned up
And
for the
you
morgue.
said-
Blah!
I'm sorry, what? Why do I have to clean
quit.
them up
I
for
quit.
the morgue?
What was the first thing you learned to cook?
Girl. Don't know.
And I don't think ramen counts.
Eggs, probably.
Eggs.
I would say
Probably for
eggs.
me too.
Yeah. We're probably the first
Because
thing.
it's the easiest.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, I know the answer to this for you.
Oh.
What was the first concert you went to see?
Ooh, it was the Spice Girls.
And I know because I took you.
Yeah,
it
you
was so
did.
awesome.
It was so
just
fun.
really honestly, how you were 10?
Well, okay, 1998.
So you were 9.
I was 9 years old.
9 years old,
August something, 1998, yeah.
and from a town of 1,000-ish people.
Yeah.
And we're in the Moda Center, which has 10,000 people.
It used to be called the Rose Quarter.
It used to be called the Rose Quarter, yep. And you're just sitting there the whole time listening to the music
Yeah.
with your little hands over your mouth
Like,
because you were so excited. And then when the video started, before the actual concert started, of the Spice Girls, I thought you were going to lose your mind.
Yeah,
And it was
girl.
the most precious thing.
oh my god, well, the Spice Girls were my literal everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the next Spice Girl.
And I just remember with Scary Spice coming out to the front and her bra snapped open.
Yeah.
And she puts her hands over her boobs and goes off stage and gets it fixed and comes back.
Nothing?
I was like nothing.
Nothing happened.
My first concert, not counting the ones I went to as a kid, like church ones and blah, that kind of crap,
Yeah.
was Devo.
Oh, that's a
they-
good first concert, too.
Whip It was really big on the radio.
Sure.
And my friend was like, let's go to the Devo concert. And I'm all, okay.
I guess.
I mean, I liked them.
Sure.
And I, had seen them on Saturday Night Live and stuff,
Yeah.
and I thought they were cool. The concert was a blast.
I bet it would
And
be.
we were in what is now the Schnitz.
Oh, what was it called then?
It
Not the
was
Schnitz?
no. It was, I think, was it the Civic Auditorium? No, that's the other one. I'd have to think about it, but
Okay.
the Paramount maybe.
It's
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it was before it was remodeled, and we're up in the balcony, and everyone's dancing and jumping. The whole balcony is moving, and I'm like, this is where I die. Because the whole balcony is going
Yeah.
to collapse. The people
Listen.
underneath are for sure going to die.
You guys, I need you to stop.
Right.
Stop it.
Well, and because I am, an old lady by nature, of
Oh.
course I'm like, could everybody just sit down and quietly watch the music and not move?
I never fail to point out how old you are.
I know.
Because my favorite story is when you decided to take those kids' ball when you were also a little kid.
I was in 8th grade. I was a little kid. But it hit me twice.
It hit me 2 times, so I needed to take it.
And they were throwing it in class.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in a classroom.
And you know what I told them? They could get it after school.
They said, you just come see me after school. Yeah, that story did not end well. When was the first time you shot a gun?
Okay, well, like a fake gun I've shot.
No, a real gun.
Okay. A real gun, because I have shot a real gun many a time in my life. I think the last time I shot a real gun, I think was when I lived in Los Angeles. So it was 24.
That was the first time?
Oh, is this the question? The first
They're all
time?
first times.
Stupid. I'm so stupid.
Well, yeah.
The very first time I shot a gun, I was probably, I don't know, in a crib, with a hunting rifle.
Sure.
I don't know, because I have, my whole youth,
Yeah.
I was shooting guns. Like, I don't remember actually the first time, because I'm from the country, so putting up milk jugs, bottles, cans, shooting them is not uncommon to do.
No.
And it's the country. So, I don't know. I would probably say somewhere between 3 and 5.
I was 6.
Okay.
Which, me as a parent now, horrified. I was 6 years old. We went up to the rock quarry by our house, and there was a bunch of things lined up, probably cans and bottles and shit like that. And it was a shotgun. And I remember not expecting it to, knock me backwards. I mean, not literally, because I wasn't standing.
Yeah.
And it just pushed my shoulder, so I was like, whoa, that was shocking.
Sure.
But at 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but 6? That's crazy to me.
I know.
But,
I know. The things we did, though, as children, in retrospect, I think if I saw any children doing any of the things I did, I would be all, beep, boop, boop. Hello, police. It's Annika. Again. Please come arrest the children. What's the next question, Mary?
Oh, this is a good one. When was your first regrettable hairstyle?
I don't know. Probably when I was 4 years old and got my head shaved. That was probably my first regrettable hairstyle.
Little bald Annika.
And I'll tell you why. On account of why. Because I have always been fortunate enough to have somebody who does hair in my life.
Yes.
So I could do what I wanted. I was able to dye my hair, cut it how I wanted, do whatever I wanted to my hair my whole life. So I never was really I don't know. I was able to do whatever. So I feel like I don't really regret most of my hair.
My first... I had terrible haircuts growing up. Because my mother
Sure.
thought just because her uterus worked that suddenly she could also be a hairdresser. As many parents think, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school...
Yeah.
I was at my best friend's house, and her mom was fixing to perm her hair, and she's like, "Hey, do you want me to perm your hair too?" And I'd never had a perm.
Tubular.
I had chin length straight hair, stick straight.
Beautiful.
Yeah, which I wore feathered because it was the 70s.
Course. What else were you supposed to do?
So she permed my hair, burned my face with perm solution, and my head looked like a fucking pyramid because it was a big triangle.
Oh, bitch.
It was so terrible. And I love it because to this day, it makes me laugh thinking about my triangle-shaped head.
Yeah.
I have a giant head.
I was
but
going to say, I would
it
say you
shouldn't
had a
certainly
big
be
one.
shaped like a triangle.
I guess I didn't know that you were part of the triangle family.
Yeah.
What's your next one for me, Mary?
How old were you when you had your first kiss? And of course, I don't mean like kissing your relatives or, that kind of crap.
How old was I? Because
And who was your first kiss?
I don't know. I'd be kissing lots of people.
Right.
Because I was like, okay, well, I dated Roger when I was like 16, 17. But I'd kissed people prior to that. Who was my first kiss? Ooh, Mary. I don't know. We could go poll the people of Yamhill County and see. But I'm unsure.
Do you know this girl? Did you kiss this girl?
Did you kiss this girl? Because I'm sure my first, kiss, actual kiss, I was probably, 14.
Okay.
And, again, she doesn't know. Because remember, there was a point in time, remember how I got mono? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your girl just kissed anybody who wanted to kiss. Boys,
Sure.
girls, I didn't care.
Okay.
So, I don't know, girl.
Well, and this is the last thing, because I'm going to tell you my story, because it's kind of a twisted one. My first kiss. My first real kiss.
Okay, I'm ready.
I was 18, I want to say. I was either 17 or 18, but I think I was 18. I was at the underage club downtown.
Yeah.
The underage queer club, which no longer exists. And I was...
Wait, there's no longer an underage queer club downtown?
Well, not that one.
Okay.
And I don't know that there is, but I know this one no longer exists.
Yeah.
So I'm there, and I'm standing outside, because it was hot as fuck inside.
Yeah.
And I went outside. I also didn't have any money, so I went outside to the drinking fountain to get water. And I'm standing there, and this man comes up to me, literally puts me up against the wall and kisses me, and I'm all, what the fuck is happening on this day? And I mean, because I didn't know who he was. And now, of course, as a grown person, I'm all, that was sexual assault.
That was totally sexual assault.
Right? But at that time, I was just all, oh my God, someone's kissing me. And it's actually pretty good. And so, whatever. But that was it. It was literally a stranger
I know.
on the street.
I love that. It's like, you're outside, it's like, excuse me, that is sexual assault. But inside, you're all, oh, you're kissing!
I'm not going to lie. It was pretty exciting.
I mean, yeah, girl.
Yeah. So, listen, I would love it. I would love it if the people who listen to this would send us a little email telling us some of your firsts. I would love that. First, whatever you would like to tell us, I would love that.
Yeah.
And you can do that at itwouldseemasthough@gmail.com.
I think maybe you should start with the first 3 to 5 numbers of your social security number. Start with that. Tell me that first.
And then tell me the rest of them.
And then tell me your mother's first maiden name.
All right. None of that. But do send it. I would love to hear some of your firsts. Also, as you know, if you listen to us, it comes out. Our show comes out every Wednesday, and I was going to say something else, but now I don't remember.
You're just so taken by this beautiful.
I'm just so
cat.
taken by your kitty cat, who I tried to pet, and she put her clawed hand on my hand, going, "No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thanks. I would rather not.
I want to be held like a baby. Don't. Ow.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week if we live through the cat attacks. And, yeah, that's it, bitch. We're out now.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Pasquouty.
Have a great, week or
all
whatever.
of the things.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Bye.